Oh dear, don't fall over. I never thought I would ever be like, oh, I love like my nose, hee 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 hee. I did see some things while I was on this pain medication. I remember one night I was sleeping and I woke up and I saw Gromit from Wallace and Gromit like in the corner of my bedroom. He was like, I'll make you better, don't worry, like you're gonna recover, we'll recover together. And I was like, thanks Gromit. Hey everybody, it's me Nia and I'm sat in my car, but I'm not doing a drive with me. I'm doing a 6-month nose job update and I thought I would film it in my car. I don't know if you know, but 6 months ago, well it was technically over 6 months ago, but at the end of September I got a nose job. I did document the whole process, so if you want to go watch that, then I will link it up here somewhere. That's better. I've got some notes on my phone of things to talk about in case I forget anything. The main actual reason I got a nose job was because of my breathing. I had these things, well everyone has them, they're called turbinates and they're like the like little swellings in your nose, but mine were extremely swollen and they blocked my airways a lot, and also I had a deviated septum which I didn't even know about. I knew my nose was like kind of wonky looking. It's kind of straight now. I'm obviously gonna over dramatize it. It wasn't that bad, but to me I noticed it in loads of photos, like how my septum was like across there. Anyway, that affected my breathing as well, so that was the main reason I actually got the surgery. And I was like, well, while you're putting me under and fiddling with my nose, you might as well make it look nice. So they reduced the bridge of my nose a bit, made it a little bit, because I had a bit of a, it wasn't super, what's the word, concave, convex, which one is it? I don't know, but it didn't stick out loads, but especially if I'm looking back at photos of myself, I'm like, wow. But as far as breathing wise goes, there's not loads to say about it really. I mean, it started out really stuffy when I was first recovering, but it's getting better and better every day. I just feel like it's nice to be able to breathe through my nose rather than it always being stuffy. Like, I can breathe. It's so nice. I will get emotional if I start talking about it for too long, so let's move on to how it looks, which I will probably also get emotional about. I feel like if I look at myself, I look the same as I used to, and I feel like if I look in a mirror or anything, I look the same. But when I look at old photos, I'll try and include one here, I feel like my nose looked really pinched before, like it was so skinny. They kind of padded out. He told me he was going to make my nose a little bit wider at this part of it. A lot of people get it made smaller, but he made mine a little bit wider just to even it out a bit because it was so skinny down the middle. And from the side, like I said, if I, what on earth was that? If I turn to the side against this, you can kind of probably hopefully see it kind of slopes a little bit now. Obviously I'm not going to be able to have my absolute dream nose because it's not really realistic to put someone else's nose on your face, and who's to say that would even suit me, you know? But it's really nice and I'm so happy with it, and I wouldn't change anything about it, to be honest. I love it. I absolutely love it. When I catch my reflection as well, and I see it, I'm always like, do I need to move? Right, what was I saying? When I look in the mirror, I'm always like, ah! Like, I don't mean to, like, I never thought I would ever be like, oh, I love, like, my nose, hee 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 hee. Like, I used to hate my nose, so it's really nice that I actually like it now. Oh dear, don't fall over. I was going to say, no one noticed. Like, literally no one notices, unless you tell them or they knew you were getting it done. No one notices. Like, it's not a thing where people are like, oh my god, your face looks different. Like, oh my god, your nose looks really different. Like, no one notices. The only people that really notice would be the people around you that see you like every day, and they would probably know you were having it done anyway. It was only really like my friends and family that were asking me about it, to be honest. Some people still ask me about it now, and it's only because they know I had it. Like, if they didn't know I had it, no one would be asking me about it. Like, I don't even think I would have noticed. No, I would have noticed because obviously you see yourself every day. But if I was just someone that like only knew me a little bit, like, I wouldn't have noticed. It's really not that big. I still look at myself and I think there isn't much of a difference, but then if I go and compare old photos, then I notice the difference. If you want to see my surgery vlog, and then I also did a 25 things I wish I knew before I had my nose job video, and in them I kind of talk about my surgery, and it was, I think it was 4 hours long. It was quite a long one. It was only meant to be 2, but he took his sweet time, and I'm really grateful that he did. It was very kind of him. They put these like horrible splints up my nose, which was actually horrendous to get them removed. It was horrible. And after I got my cast removed, my nose was swollen. It was so swollen, like you don't even understand how bad it was. Genuinely, he took it off, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, I really love it, thank you so much. I was so scared. Also, because I had these splints, my nose looked like a little pig's nose, because it was poking my nose up a little bit with the splints in it. So I was actually terrified that I was going to have a pig nose. It is a lot of trust between you and your surgeon for them to operate on your nose. Like, that could ruin your face. Like, there is a lot of trust that goes on. When I was in my recovery and I could see my little pig nose, I was like, if this man has ruined my face, I do not know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm never going to show my face again. Luckily, I love it. I'm very happy with it. Really, I didn't realise how much trust there was. I was just like, yeah, I would love to get nose surgery. I would love to breathe. I would love to like my nose. And then I got it, and then I was like, oh my god, what if he's ruined my face? I feel like you need to think about that before you go in. It does take a year to fully heal, so I'm only halfway. I'm 6 months in. Oh, another bed. But I am very happy with it so far. The swelling has gone down a crazy amount, as you can see from that photo. That was awful. I've got 3 appointments. I've already had my first 2. So the first one was a week after the surgery to get the cast off. Then the second was a month or 2 months after surgery to check everything was okay. I think it was a month. And then the next one's a year, so I'll have that in like September time. They haven't said anything about it yet, so I don't think there's like a set date for it yet, but I have said that I do want that appointment. It's kind of included in the overall like price that you pay. You get all these follow-up appointments. My surgeon warned me that the bridge of my nose would never feel smooth again. Like, if you run your hand down your nose, it will be really smooth. If you run your finger down mine, it feels like kind of bumpy and like a bit coarse. That at first, when it was swollen, like, it felt completely smooth, but now I completely understand what he was saying. Like, you can kind of feel like the rough bone. Disgusting, but you can feel it. I don't know if the swelling has gone down completely, but as it went down, I've noticed kind of like dents and stuff appearing in my nose, like here, and there's like one here where like if you move it, you can kind of see it, and it moves and it looks like it's like a bit of bone poking up. I think you can kind of see like there's like dents and bumps and stuff here and there. I don't know if that's going to go down. I have to see, because I did have these little bumps on the side of my nose. They were like from the stitches. He had to make some incisions here, and I had some bumps left from that, and he told me to just massage them and they should go away, and they did. They've completely gone now. They basically just look like tiny little spots on the side of my nose, but they did go, so maybe these will as well. Maybe I should massage them. I mean, it is still tender. Like, when I first got the cast removed, it was so painful. I remember there was this one time specifically where my boyfriend Joe like accidentally hit me in the face, and I literally stood in the corner for like 5 minutes. I was like, what did you just do? I was so scared that he'd like ruin my nose, and it was also the worst pain ever. For a few months afterwards, it was quite tender. Like, if I even touched it, it would like really hurt. I can touch it and do whatever now, like boop, 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 boop. It is still occasionally a bit tender. I don't know, I wouldn't go like whack my nose or anything, and every now and then it's more tender. My little hat is in the background. The stitches I had though, they did take a few weeks to come out, and I was worried they weren't going to come out, but they did. They just took a while to come out, but they do eventually fall out like they say they're going to. I mean, the denting, I don't think it's a huge deal. Like, I don't think it's that noticeable. I don't think you'd really notice unless I said. Obviously I would notice because it's my nose and I see it every day. I don't think you really would necessarily. In my first video I did document the recovery, and that was pretty bad, but after the 3rd day it did start getting better, so that was really nice. And then I think I spoke about it a little bit in my 25 things I wish I knew, because I kind of talked about the recovery process a little bit. But one thing that was really scary was sneezing. I hated even the thought of sneezing or like blowing my nose or anything like that, and I can do that now, but I did have to like hold in my sneezes. If you felt like a sneeze was coming, you would put your tongue to the roof of your mouth and like suck hard on your tongue, and then it would kind of like make the need to sneeze go away a little bit. I think one thing I haven't spoken about though was the pain medication they gave me. They gave me, I think it was codeine maybe, and they put me on like the lowest dose they could give me, because they were like, oh, you're so little, like let's give you a small dose. So they gave me a small dose, and even that was too much for me. I felt so sick. I literally came home and was sick. When I got home from the hospital, I was so ill, and my dad literally had to phone up, and he had to like fight for my medication to be changed. He was on the phone for like an hour with them, because they were like, oh, like we can't, like you're not technically an inpatient, like is it an inpatient when you're in the thing? They were like, oh, technically she's not our patient anymore because she's not in the hospital. And he's like, she's literally being sick on this medication, like you need to change it. They gave him a big bottle of some different painkiller, and it was a lot nicer. I did see some things while I was on this pain medication. I remember one night I was sleeping and I woke up and I saw Gromit from Wallace and Gromit like in the corner of my bedroom. He was there to like help me. He was like, I'll make you better, don't worry, like you're gonna recover, we'll recover together. And I was like, thanks Gromit. And then I went back to sleep and I woke up and I was like, Gromit was here last night. Don't know what that was about. Loads of people say that the texture of their nose changes and people say it gets like more oily. I think I did notice that when I first had it I would run my finger along the bottom of my nose and it would be oily, but now it's just like normal. I think it was just a temporary change, not a permanent one, so my nose texture seems the same now I think as before. Oh, and one thing that was very different about my surgery from someone else's surgery was that I actually had collagen taken from the back of my ear. Which one was it? Yeah, it was definitely, see, that's how you know it's good recovery, huh? Basically my skin in my nose was so thin that he said that I had to have it padded out. I don't know how common this is with nose jobs. Obviously I've only had my own. He needed to like pad out the skin so that it wouldn't like, I guess so it wouldn't break through my skin, because they literally like break your bone and like don't want it poking through and all that. So he had to pad it out, and he said I could either have some collagen from a packet which was lab grown with the chance that my body would reject it, or I could have my own collagen taken from behind my ear, and he just like cuts a bit out, pops it in my nose. So he shaved, I don't know if you can see, he like shaved my head here, like you literally can't see it. So this hair like is a little bit shorter than the rest of my hair, you can kind of see. There's this one section of my hair that like stops about here, and that was the bit that was shaved, but that's a lot of hair growth for 6 months, and it's like tucked behind my ear really neatly. And I thought I would have a scar because it was like really horrible when I first got it done. Like he had to super glue it, and he got super glue in my hair, like in the front of my hair. I had to get my hairdresser to like literally pick it out because it was so bad. But yeah, not a single issue with it anymore, so that's great. I honestly forgot that I even had that. When I was recovering, it was quite sore. So far, I really don't think there's anything I would change. I'm very happy with my nose, to be honest with you. I really do love it. I am over the moon, you might say. I think it was honestly about as good of an experience as I could have. The only thing I would do is probably, I wish I would have stayed in the hospital on the first night because I was so ill. I think I've said this before, but it was also quite nice being in the comfort of my own home. So there's that as well, like, and also I'm not 100% sure about these dents. I'm gonna massage them and hope, but also I'm only halfway through my nose job journey. We will see in another 6 months. I'll do another update and we can see what I'm thinking from there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Comment down below any questions you have about my nose job process, and if I do another video then I can answer them, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.